who's with us today.
Joel's here. So today we are getting started with the trellises in the vineyard. So we got these 8-foot, 4-inch, I forget what they're called, but they're generally seen in grape vineyards. I was gonna do 4x4 posts, but these were actually $5 cheaper, and this is actually what I wanted. I thought I'd have to get them at a specialty store. So we're gonna start digging the holes to put them in.
Mondavi, how deep are we digging these?
He's a wine guy, right?
Yes, he's a wine guy.
I'm not a wino like you.
I don't drink, brother. Not a drop.
All right.
I'm as sober as they come.
So we got to get the holes dug. Joel's already started on this one. They're 8 feet. We want about 6.5 feet out of the ground. So what does that leave us, Joel?
I don't do math. I don't get paid to do math.
It's 1.5 feet.
I'm like Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live playing the president. I was told there would be no math.
That's older than me. 1.5 feet. All right, it's several days later. We have had rain every single day this week. I tried to get out here today and film for Next Level Gardening and a break in the rain. I got about 2 minutes into it and it started pouring again. So I'm in the middle of refreshing this green stalk tower of strawberries, but I'm on a break right now until the rain stops. But I can film in the rain for you guys. So we had another development with Daisy's pregnancy. You know, we haven't been 100% sure if she was pregnant until recently when I took some pictures and talked to the breeder, and she said, yeah, it looks pretty good. Now she's got some discharge coming out, you know where. So that's another sign. But it's interesting because, you know, in order for milk cows to keep giving milk, they have to keep getting pregnant. Like every 1.5 years or so. And I've had, you know, a few people who didn't really understand the whole process say that's cruel, that's awful, that's unnatural. Well, unnatural is cows in general. Cows, you know, wouldn't be here if it weren't for people. When she has not been pregnant, she has been mooing for a man. And it's quite annoying because it's all the time. Well, whenever she's in heat, which is, I think, like once a month maybe? I don't know. I also heard from some other dairy cow owners that when a cow is pregnant, they're actually a lot happier. But that has played out that way with Daisy. I mean, she has been so much more calm and easygoing and loving towards me since she's been pregnant. So I don't think they hate it at all. And they obviously don't hate the process of getting pregnant because, you know, she mooed and mooed and mooed, and then we finally gave her what she wanted. She was pregnant in 2 days. Cottage garden looks so springy with this overcast weather and rain. It actually looks like it could be England instead of San Diego. Daisy is due like the 2nd week in May. However, because this is her first baby, the breeder said she could probably be a week early. So could be the 1st week in May. So just, you know, 2 months away. Joel and I were going to build the stanchion, the milking stanchion for her this past weekend, but it was so muddy down there in the corral, it just wasn't a great spot to be working in. So instead we did the posts for the grapevine trellises. Did I ever show you how that turned out? Oh, it stopped raining, so we're gonna have to wait on that. I gotta get back to filming the other video. I'll be right back. I'm still loving my Hi-C boots. In fact, they're sponsoring this video. I was never a boot guy. I'm in and out of the house all the time, and who has time to lace and unlace every time? Plus, they're not waterproof. A couple of years ago, I was contacted by Hi-C to promote their boots. We looked through the line and told them what we tell every company. Send us the product, we have to try it out for a good amount of time, and we have to love it. I wore them for several months, right through one of our rainiest winters. They were great. No laces, easy to get on and off. They're comfortable, and they definitely were waterproof. The only thing I didn't like was the style I picked. My fault. Tromping through straw and hay all the time, the straw would sneak its way down into the 8-inch boot and be uncomfortable. So when Hi-C contacted us again, I let them know that, and they sent me a taller pair. They were perfect. I've worn them all winter, and not just in the rain, but just out gardening. They're so comfortable, roomy, and rugged. I love them. They have a 100-year lifetime service warranty and 100% keep warm and dry guarantee. I have a link below in the video description for 15% off for our viewers, and I know you're going to enjoy them as much as I do. Okay, got that done before the rain. So take a look. So all the posts are in except one. You can see that one right there is a bit crooked. It's in the hole. It just needs cement. We ran out of cement. These posts are taller than I imagined, or they look taller than I imagined. And the thing about the 6-foot posts is that you can do 2 lines of grapes, so a lower decker and an upper decker. However, I think with 1 rung of grapes on each of these trellises, I'm going to have more grapes than I know what to do with. So while the thought of having 2 and, you know, growing twice as much in the same space is cool, these are just way too tall for me, and I'm not going to need that many grapes. I'm going to end up giving a ton away as it is. So I'm not going to cut them down yet. I'm going to wait. I don't even know. Maybe I'll leave them here throughout the whole year and grow that first rung of grapes and see. But for the long term, I just think that this height of posts overwhelms this area, especially if you consider grapes growing all the way to the top of each one of them. So I'm not going to make any rash decisions. We'll just hold off and see what happens. We actually have some peaches on these trees already. Look at this. Look at that. Now obviously I'm going to have to thin them, and I don't even know if a tree this size can actually take fruit all the way to ripe, but we'll see. Got some on this one as well. So I'm going to get in the house before the rain starts again because I know it's coming. I'm down here feeding Daisy, and we have some movement inside. See it? You know, she actually looks different right here. She's more sunken in. Those are all signs. Another full day, full night of rain. And now today, look at this pond. And the dirty dog. Would you know she's white? No. The rain was so hard and the wind that it woke me up at like 3 a.m. and I sleep with like a white noise maker on, so it was loud. Got puddles everywhere. It's supposed to rain again, more today and then tomorrow as well. Well, this might help Bill get this stump out. Doing good down here, I believe. Doing okay over here in the vineyard. So other than being just so incredibly wet to not be able to do anything out here, nothing's damaged. Now it's hailing. Headed out for our evening feeding, but the pond's filled up even more now. Look at that. If this is your first time here, that's not the way the pond will look. This is like a pre-thing. The pond hole is just dug. Hear that big frog? Or toad, probably. When it was raining earlier, there were tons of frogs and toads making noise. Oh boy. Bella girl. Look at you. Look at you. You better not be digging more. Sit. Don't touch me. Look at that. All right. Well, after tomorrow, we've got lots of dry, warmer weather coming, so hopefully this will all dry out. Yep, I agree. Rain's starting again. It's supposed to rain off and on all night, and then quite heavy midday tomorrow. And then after that, we move into the upper 60s. I saw a 70 day. So that'll be nice. So today's the last indoor day. A little more rain expected today, and then quite a few days of dry. In fact, I think it's the whole forecast is dry, mostly. But I'm out here in the garage checking on my seedlings and some of my plants. If you guys remember when we came home from Hawaii, I brought some cuttings home with us, and most of them are doing really well. Actually, about 2 months ago, we had a frost that was not on the forecast, and they were just, even though they were outside, they were under a grow light, they still got too cold, and I thought I lost them. They all kind of wilted down. Most of them lost most of their leaves. You can see a couple here are still struggling, but the rest of them are doing good. My pepper plants coming up. My tomato plants are doing good. And about 2-3 weeks ago, I took some rosemary cuttings. It was the perfect time to take them because they had nice, young, fresh growth, a lot of it, but no sign of any kind of flower buds. So that's the perfect time to take them. And you can see we've got some roots coming on already. Need to put a little more water in some of these. So the way you take rosemary cuttings is, like I said, when the plant has fresh growth, no flower buds of any kind. You can take anywhere between 6 and 12 inch cuttings, and then you want to strip the leaves or the needles or whatever you want to call them off of the bottom half, and then put them in a jar of water all the way up to the bottom of where the leaves are starting. And typically, for whatever reason, the roots tend to start either at the bottom of the stem or right there under the leaves. I've noticed with most of these, it's right there under the leaves. And I'm taking a lot of these because I have a big use for them coming up this year. I'm going to be doing 2 rosemary hedges, or rosemary hedges in 2 locations. The first place is up here in the cottage garden. Now, you've probably wondered, unless you heard me talk about it a while back, why the bottom of the cottage is just kind of open. Well, when I first started building this, my main concern was longevity, and so I wanted the 4x4 posts that hold up the entire structure out of the ground. Out of the ground. Plus, this ground was sloping. As you notice up here, the ground is much closer to the bottom of the cottage than at this end. And so I thought to solve both those problems, I was just going to get these pylons This is what they look like inside the cottage. So at that end, it only required one high. It's mainly, most of it's buried into the ground. And then here we've got two. And then at the other end, we've got three stacked. And they're all cemented together, glued together. And then now the whole structure of the cottage is holding them to, you know, keeping it stable. But I figured, you know, later I would just come down and do some rock work at the bottom. The problem is the pylons stick out a bit, and it would just be very clunky and thick to have a lot of rock work here. And so I've always said plants hide a multitude of sins. And so I'm going to have a rosemary hedge all the way along the bottom here. Just very small, clipped very tight, but it's going to mask the opening on the bottom there. Now, for those of you who haven't heard me say before, this is a chicken coop, not a house, and so I'm not really worried about drafts. In fact, drafts are great. They keep airflow through here. It's actually more than a chicken coop. It's storage as well. But there's not a back to it. So the openings along the bottom are totally not a big deal. So that's one spot that I'm going to have the hedges. What are you doing? You're coming out to golf? So Noah just jumped out of bed, still in his pajamas, and he's going down to hit some golf balls. Which is great because he never used this as a basketball court. Now it's his driving range. Whatever, I'll take it. So anyway, the next spot where the hedges are going to go is here in the Mediterranean garden. So there's going to be some kind of path that comes through the middle of it, and then hedged in borders on each side. Well, not really borders. Hedged in spots where I'm going to have roses, some Italian cypress, some dwarf Italian cypress, maybe a fountain, but this is going to require a lot of hedges. And so number one, boxwood is expensive, especially when you need that many. And boxwood takes a long time to grow. Rosemary, on the other hand, grows very fast here. Winter hardy, smells great, and hello, Mediterranean, right? So that's what all those cuttings are going to be. I'm dying to get out here and clean out this vegetable garden. I mean, the tomatoes look so sad. So sad. And everything else is just overgrown. Ugh. But it's so wet and so muddy out here, I'm going to have to wait a couple more days. That's it for this video, guys. The video comes out today, and I got to get this out to you. So I will see you next time when we're going to have drier weather and many more projects to do together. Bye.